Hey everybody, welcome to your Unpaid Therapist.
Hello, welcome to another episode of your Unpaid Therapist.
I'm not getting paid. I didn't even get a donut.
Oh, that's sexy though. I like it.
I'm Valery Milagros Ortiz.
I don't know.
I am your host, Alikona. She's away. Brad Ford.
This is your Unpaid Therapist. Shoo-wah, cha-cha.
Hey everybody, welcome back to your Unpaid Therapist. Hopefully you're back. I'm assuming you're back, but if you're new, thank you for joining us. I'm Valery. This is Alikona, and today, if you haven't heard any of our previous podcast episodes, this is Teresa, and I actually just met Teresa today, but I've heard so much about her. She has such an interesting, and I'm just going to talk to you about you like you're not sitting right next to me, but I love your story about your career and all the success you've had with dance, and the most interesting thing is just the rediscovery of yourself that you've done in your life and that you continue to do. And I think that is super inspiring. And when Alikona suggested having you on, I was like so excited because I feel like you're a wealth of knowledge to our listeners and viewers. But before we get into any of that, all of it, we're going to do our usual. Never have I ever's. So let's see. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to mix it up. So last time we did this, I feel like none of us never have I ever done anything. So hopefully we get some interest.
The one lonely yellow one. Never have I ever gotten sunburn on my armpits.
Go ahead.
I sure have, guys. It was fantastic.
You have?
Yes,
That's
I have.
odd.
And I know, and I just, please give us details.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to Australia, and for everybody's public announcement information, there's a hole in the ozone layer, and you can get sunburned within 3 minutes. That's how bad it is. So I went to this beautiful beach called the Whitsundays. Like, you have to take a boat there. Like, it's beautiful. It's like a postcard. And so I was there and I'm like, this is so amazing. And before I even knew anything about manifestation or gratitude, I was like, I'm gonna take a moment and just say thank you. So I got on my little beach chat. Okay, no, you know what the truth is? I didn't take a singer suit. I was on the boat.
What's a singer suit?
That's what I said. I was on this boat. Some Australian lovely person was like, would you like a singer suit? And I have date myself. This is when like iPods were still kind of trendy and brand new. And I was like, I didn't hear the announcement that you had to take one. And since she offered, I thought it was optional. And I said, no, I don't want a stinger suit. And put my thing back in and was like, hey, then they drop us off on this island and leave us. And everybody has these little black wetsuits on but me. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess, why don't you just make whatever? There were jellyfish in the water. And that's why you had to, and after a while, I said, fuck it, I'm getting in the water. I don't care. And I did, and I didn't get stung and I was fine. And then we went to another side of the island. I took a stinger suit and had some goggles and I saw all the jellyfish and I was like, shit, like I got real lucky. But the point is, while I was debating on whether or not I was going to get in the water with the jellyfish, I laid on the towel for like 3 minutes, guys, and was like, this is so beautiful and blah, blah, blah. And then after we left the beach, I was like, oh, my armpits are itchy. That's so weird. And then the sunburn set in by that evening, literally like lobsters, just little ovals under my armpits. I had to sleep like this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like
that
it was
is crazy.
So painful.
Yeah.
So painful.
So wait, how come the rest of your body didn't, or like the other part of your arms?
I put sunscreen on. See, that's the thing is, no one.
I was okay.
Who put sunscreen on their armpits?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. Never done it.
Never.
I don't think I've ever done it.
No, never.
Okay.
Never have I ever.
Right. That's right. Good one. So I think it's safe to say neither of us have
No.
ever gotten sunburn in our
No.
armpits. I love it. Okay, let me. Actually, go ahead. You pick one, Teresa.
Okay. Let's see.
Pick a card, any card.
This one sounds right.
Okay.
What does that say?
Okay. I never have I ever turned my laundry whites a different color.
Well, judging by your pink shirt. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Maybe I have.
Okay. You know?
I typically separate. So
Yeah.
if I have, it's probably because, I don't know, a fluke. Maybe something accidentally got a color, got in there, and I didn't know.
Yeah, I've never
Me
done
neither.
that. And I've always, you see the commercials and I'm like, who does that happen to?
Men.
Men. Okay, there.
Right?
I
Rachel
care.
on Friends.
True. Oh yeah, I remember that episode. Wasn't everything pink?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess, yeah, no. So never have I ever, you? No?
Nope.
Okay.
We know how to do laundry.
Right?
Yes. I'm on the status wheel. I'm going to do a pink one. Never have I ever pranked a teacher / my class. Yes.
Oh.
And this is, it's so childish and so funny to me still. In college, I went to a conservatory type program at UCF. I was going to get my bachelor's degree in theater. And so you have classes with all the same people, mostly, not your general eds. And so my brother, I don't even know how I got this, but my brother got me a fart machine and it has a control. I know, I'm like a 12-year-old boy, right, in college. And so I thought it would be so funny to play with this in class. And me and my best friend, Shiloh, were the only ones in on it. And she was wearing the machine and I had the control. And so like, this is like one of like the first days of like meeting everybody. And my friend John Carlos talks about this all the time, that he was like, you guys were so crazy, like, because we were going off like with the machine and like straight face and like people. And the best part about this is just looking at people's faces, trying not to react and trying to like pretend that they didn't hear something that everybody knows they heard. And it's just so fucking beautiful. And like,
That's hilarious.
and hilarious. And I'm just looking at people's faces and like, and then just the body language changes and everybody, it was so funny. And then like, it got to the point where it was too much and the teacher was like, all right guys, cut it out. And my friend Joe Carlos thought it was for real, and he was like, no, Mr. Leek, like she has like stomach issues. Good times. So that was
for you.
that was so funny. And like thinking about it, I'm like, what a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a fart machine in college. It was worth it.
But no cameras at the time.
No. Yeah, I
was
know. That would have been I mean, if I had socials, imagine like getting people's reaction, that would have been money.
Yeah.
Like I would have
for sure.
it would have been so good. No, it was just pure entertainment.
What's so funny about farts? I mean, they're hilarious.
It's not the fart. That's not the funny part. At least to me. To me, it's the reaction of like of just like how did we all hear it? Are we pretending we didn't?
People are pretending.
Like, like, or just that
Yeah.
part.
The reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like people trying to be like super nice about it, or some people like you could tell are completely uncomfortable and disgusted. It's just so funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
No.
What about you? Pranks?
No.
No.
I don't remember. I don't
I've
have
not
any.
pranked a teacher, but I'll share this story because you know this person. So there's this choreographer. His name is Jason Wright.
Oh shit.
Did not prank him, but he starts class and like we're at this dance studio, okay? And there's the radio over here, and he walked over to the radio and then walked back, and I was in the front row because I was that person. Like I always hugged the front row because I'm short, and I wasn't paying attention. I think I was stretching and like doing some shit with my arms. Yeah, and as soon as he walked by, legit, my hand was cupped. I did one of these backwards and got him right in the balls.
Oh!
Like so hard.
Ouch.
He keeled over and I was like, oh. And I felt like, I felt violated. I'm like, I just touched this man's parts. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyways.
What did he say?
I mean, he said, ow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure the voice went up like that too.
Yeah. Or more like, oh. And I was like, I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Oh, that is hilarious.
But then, like, after that, every time I took class, I'm like, oh my God, I've felt this man's penis before.
You are such a nerd.
That's hilarious. Oh man.
And it's just funny too, because sometimes we'd sit after class and have these serious conversations, and I'm sure he was like philosophizing, and I'm just looking at him like, I've touched your penis.
Yeah.
And you're the 12-year-old girl.
I know.
Yep.
See, we're meant
Yes.
to do this today.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of body parts,
Did we all do this?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, did I? I picked one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. That concludes
Anyways.
our Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, but that's a great transition because we were talking about body parts,
Yes.
and then
Yes,
we want to talk about
actually,
how
it is.
we hold energy in different body parts.
The way this was even brought up, because, you know, I feel like, and we've talked about this before, all of our episodes are real conversations that we've had. And it started with you. Alikona had a lot of like hip pains and stuff. Like, obviously, you're a dancer. She does parkour. She does like all the extreme anythings. And she's really good at it.
Yes.
But then you started feeling,
pain in my hips.
yes. And so
And part of it, okay, so I had sprained my ankle. You guys, in the span of
lot.
a year and a half,
I remember that.
sprained this one twice and this one once. And
She just
so,
pointed to her left one if
sorry
you're not
guys, left.
visually
I mean, there's only
joining
two
us.
ankles. Use your imagination. But the last one, it cracked my shin because it went in and out. And I was
Ugh.
parkouring over an obstacle, and the obstacle fell over on me. Like it just wasn't
Ay,
secured
ay.
properly. So it wasn't my fault. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I had told Teresa, we were actually talking about this
Yeah.
too, because that started a whole array of like hip issues. But in general, I told her, I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I was like, I think I started having all these ankle injuries because I was off balance, like
In life.
energetically.
Yeah.
And it filtered into my body, and I just couldn't, because I wasn't even doing anything cool. Like there was one time where all I was doing was jumping up and down, warming up for class on the springboard floor, and all of a sudden it went crack, and I fell over, and I was like, oh,
Ay.
of all the things,
Yeah.
that was nothing.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, all that to say, I just then started blaming the hip issues on the ankle and was like, well, it's because I injured myself. But a year went by, a year and a half went by, and I was like, this doesn't make sense.
And things just kind of became a little bit more consistent, right? Because you're so active. I mean, look at her. You can
I
tell.
know.
And so to have somebody as active as her have all these like real like basic kind of injuries, right? For people who aren't as active, it was a little like, huh.
Weird.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
little weird. So then obviously you guys talked, and then Teresa, you, I guess,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
said-
do remember we were on one of our long walks that
Yeah,
you
talking about
took
that.
me on, like 2-hour walk. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know it was going to be 2 hours.
was
was,
it midnight?
It was pretty amazing though. It was like,
late.
it was late. It was late.
Alikona loves these late night walks,
Yeah.
y'all. Yeah, I've been on some. They are
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
go up into like the hills in LA and the nice houses, which, you know, energetically you're, you know, osmosis with rich people.
Exactly.
It works.
Yeah.
But yeah, do remember you talking about your hip at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was more about your hip than your ankles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the conclusion of the story is basically when I realized that we hold emotions in our bodies, and specifically we hold a lot in our hips.
How did you realize?
I was online yoga class, you guys. Don't discount it. Anyway, but yeah, and the yogi teacher, as I was stretching, was like, we hold our energy in our hips, so don't be surprised if you start crying. I'm like, if I'm stretching? Like
Yeah.
physical pain, yes, but I would
Yeah.
never think emotionally something would come up from, doing pigeon pose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on a walk one night and was like, okay, let me think about all the emotions that I have not dealt with, because certain emotions we just think are ugly, so we don't like to admit that we hold them. Like it's okay publicly or socially to be like, yeah, I compare myself, I'm a little insecure. That's okay. But we don't necessarily own up, I don't anyways, the fact that I was bitter and that I was jealous. Like those are ugly emotions. And I would never want to say, for example, I've never felt this way towards you, Val, but like I'm bitter that Val has X, Y, and Z and I don't. And so when I was going on this walk, I realized I had lived with somebody that had so much success in dance and was like laying around the house and doing nothing and then just showing up. But she was talented. She's very talented. Danced for J-Lo for like a decade, and did all these things. And I'm over here like taking class and forcing it and making it happen and blah, 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 which is a whole other episode. Point being, I let go of any anger, jealousy, or bitterness that I have. And all these things. And the next day I was like, my hip feels better.
Yes.
What that's love. So anyway, I mean, I could go on about all these things, and I'm still working it out. Like it would go from right hip to left hip, from right hip every few months. So that's how I knew. I was like, something's wonky.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I don't know if you'd like to speak to that as far as like holding energy.
Yeah, our body, I have not read it, so I can't speak to the book, but it's on my list. It's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Reading it.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, snap. Okay.
I love that you literally snapped. I've never been with someone who's like, oh, snap, and actually snapped. That was pretty cute. All right. Oh, snap. You were like, gee golly.
I totally did that.
Funny. You so did. I love it.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
Snap.
that's hilarious.
It is fun.
Yeah, but our body, the energy, if we don't transmute the energy or the feelings or the emotions, it stays. Like all the trauma from our childhood. I mean, our parents, for the most part, they loved us. But, it's the blind leading the blind, and there's this story that Louise Hay talks about. And I'm totally going to butcher it, but she says, it's like you're walking down the street and somebody bumps into your shoulder and you get pissed off and you turn around and you're like, hey, what the fuck? You just bumped into me. She didn't say what the fuck, but I'm saying what the fuck. And you look at this person, you're angry at them for bumping into you. And then you notice that they're blind. And this is how we're walking around our life all day going, what the fuck? You did this, da 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 da. But they're blind. Everybody's blind, even ourselves. We also, in that story, she doesn't say this, but in that story, we feel like somebody bumped into us, but we also bumped into them. And we're thinking they're the reason why we're pissed off, right? And we're just as blind as they are. And so we're all like pointing the finger at everybody, but we're holding on to these resentments and emotions and trauma and pain. And some of it is like really, really, really fucking painful. And then we pretend, and we're getting into like some medical things, but not that I'm a medical expert. Okay. Just gotta say,
Right.
for the
Disclaimer,
record, this is
okay.
not advice.
Don't at us. Right? Like, I'm a nurse. Okay.
I'm just a dancer. Okay. But I know a few things. I put some things into practice for myself. And one of those things is, just that, our energy traps in our body, these emotions, if we don't release them, they get stuck. And then we wonder why our body's in pain. And we want to say, oh, it's that thing happened that created the pain. No, there's energy the body's trying to communicate. And so this is something we haven't been taught. Is through pain and symptoms and disease. I don't say disease, dis-ease. It's the body is communicating and talking to us at all times, but we have been taught to take the Advil, suppress the pain, shut up the migraine, shut up the cramps, and then go to work and keep moving, and no, we're meant to actually like listen and our body's literally screaming at us. And we're like, nope. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I'm going to keep going. And then we wonder why it never goes away. And we're living with chronic pain.
Right.
Yeah. I have a story. I haven't even shared this with you. I put it in our little notes. But after my divorce, I obviously super traumatic, went through so many different things. And every wedding anniversary, I got so ill. And
Wait, was this while you were married or
no,
after?
After.
Oh,
After.
Snap.
Yeah. Now it's a thing. Now, Teresa, you started the thing. No, so it was after the divorce, and every January 11th, or like right before, I would get super sick, get the flu. And I was like, I would never get sick. I was sick on my wedding day, like dead, like yeah. And we've talked about
when you got
this.
married to him.
When I got married, yeah.
Oh shit!
Like vomiting, like all the things. It like
your
was
body was talking,
girl. It was like
big time.
No, it did, and it was awful. I've never been that sick in my life. And then when I got the divorce, every anniversary I was getting so sick, and it changed because back to dance world and hit the floor. I had my first rehearsal for season 3 when my character was starting to dance again. And it was January 6th. I was rehearsing with Michael Rooney and all the dancers and Michael. And I legit woke up that morning, y'all, and I couldn't move my neck. And I was like freaking out because I was super nervous already. Because it's my first dance rehearsal. I'm about to be with all these professionals. Like, I don't want to feel like I already felt not good enough, So like to have something else keeping me, like, I can't even move my neck. What the fuck? I'm like texting a friend of mine who's my manager's son, who's in the dance world, texting Brian. He was going to be at rehearsal, and I was like, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. I went to rehearsal. I told Michael, and they got me a neck brace. Like, I have a fucking photo. We need to insert it. I have a photo of me at my first freaking rehearsal with a freaking neck brace. And obviously it was an emotional day because it was that moment of just like, you're fucking kidding me. Like, again. And during a break, I was telling Michael, and I told him, I was like, it's something about this date, and this is the day my divorce or whatever.
He said that to you.
I told him like this situation, and he was like, you're holding on to it. He's like, you're holding on to it in your body. He's like, and he was the first person who like made me aware of that.
Wow.
And ever since then, I was like, I release you. And that was the last wedding anniversary date that I ever felt any kind of pain, sickness. And it was, and it's funny because just the awareness of it helped me let it go. So even you got, discussing this and like making it something that, I do believe that there's people out there who might listen and think this is super frou-frou talk and crystals and, they roll their eyes at it.
Yeah.
And sure, like no judgment, but hopefully, if maybe this is something that's been happening to any of you and then it triggers something that it's like, huh. And you have that awareness, but it was wild.
That is wild.
My body spoke to me, and that was the first time I was aware of that, and somebody else made me aware of that even being a possibility. So I think it's a fascinating topic.
Yeah, he opened the door.
Yes.
To connecting what was happening, physically happening, to the emotional stuff that was in the background, running in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it literally brought me to tears. And I didn't feel emotional that day. It was more frustration, which I guess that is a very strong emotion. But until when he said that, I teared up immediately because it was almost like, just felt that.
Yeah. Teresa, have you ever had that experience where you didn't realize you're holding on to something, and now that you've grown and you've had so much knowledge, you're like, oh.
I mean, yeah. Well, my experience of connecting to my body at a deeper level was during the pandemic. A friend of mine mentioned this, I don't know what to call it, but it's called German New Medicine. And she mentioned it kind of like on the side, and I was like, wait, well, that sounds interesting. What is German New Medicine? So she sent me some videos to learn about it. And basically, in the first introductory video, I was starting to have cramps for my period. And I watched the introduction, and I said, you know what? I'm going to lay here on my yoga mat. I placed my hands on my body, and I said, I love you. You know what you're doing. You've been doing this a long time. This is natural for you to, bleed and all the things. I am not going to be scared of what you're doing, and I'm just going to trust you. And my cramps, I'm telling you, fucking went away. They went away. And on top of that, I haven't taken any Advil ever since. And this is over like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And
did you get chronic like cramps?
Yeah, I would always take Advil
Wow.
every time because it was kind of unbearable.
Wow.
But it literally, my body softened. The pain softened on its own. And that was the first time of going, hold on. All I had to do was talk to my body and the pain went away. Because the pain is like fear, basically. Basically, anytime we have pain in any part of our body, it's fear. And that's just trapped. And then if you know what to look for or look at, so each body part represents an aspect of our life. So, but we're not taught any of this stuff. So, my go-to is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That's literally when I have a symptom.
Can you repeat it? What is it?
You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And in it, she has the body part that is affected, the possible cause of the pain, and then she gives you an affirmation to release the pain. So recently, 2 weeks ago, literally, I got sick because I had released some emotions came up. I was doing some breath work that I'd never done before. And immediately after the breath work, I had all this like emotion come out, and then my throat started hurting. And it went from a sore throat to like sinus to like coughing. I still have a little bit of cough. Each symptom means something. So the cough means I am not saying what I need to say. So, but we think we're just like, oh, I have a cough. Let me take some cough syrup. Let me shut up the body. But if I look at why am I coughing, there's an emotional response. There's an emotional reason. And so you go to this book, and I don't remember the affirmation completely, but it's just like, I am heard, I'm seen, I'm valued, or whatever the affirmation is. And so what I ended up doing was doing hot and cold hydrotherapy. And basically I would get in a hot tub and then have a bucket of ice water, and you submerge yourself for 3 minutes. And this is a way to naturally boost the immune system. This is not medical advice. Okay. This is just what I did, and it worked for me. So Monday, I felt it. I was like not feeling well. Tuesday, it hit me really bad. Like I had sinus, runny nose, stuffy nose, all these things. I went to Louise Hay's book. I opened up, and for each symptom, I would look at the cause and the affirmation. For 3 minutes, I'd lay in the hot water, say the affirmation for stuffy nose, whatever it was. And then I'd do a cold like a rag on my chest and my face, because it was in my face. And for 3 minutes, I'd do the cold and say the affirmation for that one symptom. So for 6 minutes, I'm reciting the same affirmation. I did that for 5 different symptoms. The next day, I had no headache, the stuffy, the runny, all of it gone. The sore throat was gone. I still had a bit of a cough, but that's, because we're always wanting to say something, or at least I am. Zero, absolutely zero medication. Like, it is so empowering when you actually start to connect what's showing up in your body as a pain or discomfort, and then going, what does that mean? Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, so at what point do you, because I work out a lot, right?
Yes.
And there'll be times where I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like so tight. So it's like, how do you differentiate what is because, I was
What's
working
tight,
out.
though?
Well, it's still, I call it my booty hip.
Okay.
Because it's like the side of my glute,
Yeah.
but kind of my hip.
Yeah.
And that's the one that it migrates around. And I've done the work, it'll go away, but then sometimes it'll come back just in a different spot. And I'm like, okay, there's obviously something emotional. But then
Right.
at the same time, I know I just did legs.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it tight because I did? That's also part of the natural healing
Yeah.
process, right? You're breaking
Yeah.
down muscle fibers, and then
Right.
they're redoing their thing.
Right.
So yeah, how do you differentiate?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it depends, I think, on if it's like chronic pain or you're just working out and sore. Like, so if it's pain and it's not, maybe it's exacerbated because you're working out.
Why should you look at me like that?
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe that's trying to say something, but you're like, it's okay, I'm going to keep working out.
Oh yeah, that's totally me. Like, it hurts,
Right.
but I don't care. Like, I'm used to it. I'm
Okay.
so accustomed to it
Right.
that I work beyond it because
Yeah.
I can't skip a workout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm still just going to keep on going.
So what if you could skip a workout?
I mean, I
What does
skipped
that
a
mean?
workout today so I could
Okay.
be here.
Okay.
But I'll probably
But how
work
do
out
you
tonight.
feel?
I'm fine. I mean, I'll do it tonight though.
Okay, but you like one day is like your max.
Yeah, usually 6 days a week, and then the 7th I'll do like a stretch or something.
So your body's saying something in your hip,
Yes.
and you're like, go hard 6 days a week,
Yes.
and your hip is like, hello.
It gets tight. Yeah, but like I said, it migrates around. It's the weirdest thing.
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll go away, and then it'll come back. So again, it's like, how do you figure out what that one thing is? I mean, I could look it up in the index of the book, but I don't know where's booty hip, like, you know.
There's stuff in there. And I don't have the book on me. I wish I would have brought it, because then we could actually look it up, and it'd be interesting to see how that plays out for you, because definitely, like, you know, the left side of the body is masculine energy and it gives. Sorry, the right side of the body is masculine and it gives. The left side is feminine energy and it receives. And so anything that's on either side of the body, whatever the emotion is, has to do with giving and receiving as well. So there's that layer in there depending on the body part.
It's fascinating.
It is. And when you actually start to question, like, why is this? What is it going on? What are you saying? You could probably even ask your hip without the book. You could place your hand on your hip and ask it what it's saying. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, but it's like, then what? Like what's it gonna say?
Okay. Well, let's try. Let's try.
Okay,
let's
hold on.
play.
Let's.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not sore in this current moment.
It's okay.
Okay.
It still has something to say, though.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's close your eyes.
Okay.
Okay. You want to close your eyes. Okay. And take a deep breath in. And release. Take another deep breath in. And release. Getting centered. Take another deep breath in. And release. Placing your hand on your hip or on a body part that's kind of been gnawing at you, wanting some attention, and just feeling the energy of that area. What does it feel like?
Warm?
Mm-hmm.
Like hot?
Mm-hmm. So there's an energy, it's heat. There's like heat to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a sensation other than hot or heat?
Like a little bit of tingles, but I
Okay.
don't know if I'm like wanting to feel it or if it really is
Yeah,
tingling.
don't question. If it feels like a little tingle, then it's probably right. Okay. Now I want you to check in and ask your hip, do you have a message for you? Does it have a message for you? What is it trying to tell you?
I don't know.
What does it want to say?
Teresa. I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now because
Yeah.
we're on camera and
I
I want to
know.
make something magical.
No, it's okay. You know, the funny thing is I got a message for you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It said, love me. That's the message I got for you. It's just saying, love me.
So then do I love you, hip. Like how do I? Yeah.
Just acknowledging that it's there. I think it just wants some acknowledgement, some attention, some love, some space.
I don't know, man.
I think that message too is very specific to just you can use that message in so many different places.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's just talking to your hip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And also because you work out 6 days a week, even though it's saying something, maybe that's all it needs is just acknowledgement that it's there. Sometimes that's half the thing, right? Like validation is huge. The program I'm learning from right now is teaching me how to validate. Like, we all want to be validated. We all want to be seen and heard. And when we don't and we're gaslit, that is probably the most painful. On top of the trauma, then you're gaslit and, not acknowledging what happened and what's there. And that's basically what we're doing to our body. We're gaslighting our body all the time. We're like, oh, no, you're not there. Nope. I'm going to keep going because I got stuff to do. I got my goals to achieve, right? And it's like, just breathe with me, be with me, love me, trust me.
And it goes deep into, and I'm just going to speak to for myself as to why can't we skip a workout? It's more about that. It's not that you work out 6 days a week and you missing a workout is like, nope. But why? Because that seed of that is what grew into like, oh, I love working out. It's like, you do. And I'm speaking for myself, but it's like, but where was that born and why? Like that obsession with it and that and I mean it feels good and it's great for our health and luckily it's an addiction that we can benefit from. You know what I mean? But I do think you and I are addicted to working out for different reasons.
Right.
That
I mean, I know when I was a kid, my parents gave me so much shit for my body. My mom is Japanese and very small, and my dad was 6 foot, big guy, and I land in the middle because I'm mixed. But for my mom, I was getting bigger and bigger than her because she's so tiny. So for her, that was concerning. Before we moved from LA, I moved from LA when I was 5, and I remember being on a diet before I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And she could have just used different terms like we're eating healthy, but instead it was like
Right.
we're going on a diet, and when I went vegetarian at 12, and then when I was in my 20s I went vegan, still am.
Yes.
And my dad, it wasn't popular back then, so he would be like, oh, you're just trying to be cool, like you're trying to be trendy, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And then he's like, oh, you're trying to be anorexic, and so then it was like he thought I was trying to not eat, but then every time I went into the pantry, he'd be like, oh, you're eating again, oh, you're gonna get fat, oh, and so it's like you have that energy from dad, and then mom like constantly like either weighing me to be like, oh, like you're still getting bigger, on a scale, or even just like poking at me and being like, you're really in really good shape. This happened in my like 20s, like you're in really good shape, but you really should work out like your midsection. And I'm like, cool, thank you. So it's like that mixed in with, I mean, I'm sure we all have our own societal pressures, but I think when you grow up with such emphasis on it, it's like, well, what can I do to control the situation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do all these things. And I don't
and now I'm in control.
Yeah. So it's like, obviously when I wake up in the morning, those aren't the thoughts consciously that are in my brain. Now I'm like, I just have to work out, and I like getting in shape, and it feels good, and I like the results, and I like the way my arms look. So I'm just going to keep on going. But can I take a break? No.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get fat.
Yeah.
And no fat shaming, no body shaming or whatever, but it's for you is it comes with a very specific,
Parental acceptance.
exactly.
Yes.
So I just don't want anybody to think that we're like, no, like body positivity, whatever you feel good in, obviously. But when it's attached to other traumas in your life, when you were a baby, like a baby,
A diet at 5.
yeah, it's so
How did that make you feel?
different.
I was like, oh, okay. Because I was so young. But I
You
mean,
didn't know any better.
no, but growing
Right.
up, obviously it didn't feel good when you're hungry and you're going for a snack and your dad's like, oh, you're going to get fat. You keep eating like that, you're just going to get fat. And as a child, you want to earn your parents' love.
Right.
And that was given very sparsely sometimes. Not intentionally, but that's just, and I had an alcoholic in the home. So all that said, it's like you're trying to be enough to get, and we had this conversation,
Right.
but you're trying to be enough to get and earn the love of your parent. So that's also associated. I just want to make sure we cover like with the whole body shaming. It's not that, it's
Yes.
attached to, I can't let my body get this way because then that's like a big no.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not new. Like obviously that was a very specific thing in your family, but that's society. I mean, just now I feel like with the social medias and we're getting, this whole body positivity movement, going, but that's very new. Like, I mean, when we were all growing up like that, like being in ballet as a little kid, like I was the curvy girl, and I was like, ooh, I'm not tall and my legs aren't skinny, like, and so like you're like, oh, I don't want to put on this leotard. Like I don't feel small like all the other ones, you know, or like what a ballerina look like
Yeah, and
traditionally.
especially being in the entertainment industry, you know, there is that aspect of how we present to other people and our look, and yeah, it goes so deep on how we show up in the world and want to be accepted, and then bringing it back to the body, it's like if we keep looking for validation and acceptance from all these people outside of us, but the body's going, please hear me, please love me, please listen, just spend some time with me. But we need it from everything else, but the body's going, please listen, look at me, listen to me, validate me. And when we can learn to do that for ourselves, ooh, then this outside world doesn't have the power like it used to. I want that for people, to just trust what's going on in here and learn and redo what society told us to do. Like, you shut up and you go be Elon Musk. Because if you're not anything close to Elon Musk, then you're not a success. So you better shut up and get it together, you know? And it's like, I don't want that I don't want that. But I mean, it works for people, but just going inward is like I think, next evolution of where we're at as humans. Because we're so like yelling at each other, and then we wonder why we're in pain because the body's yelling at us. And then we go and yell at other people, and then they yell back, and then we have something else, the body's going yelling at us. You know, it's just like a vicious cycle we're in. You know?
Yeah, I got a little emotional when you started whispering, you know, the love me, the listen to me, because visually I pictured little Val, our baby, that 5-year-old Alikona, and all the things we tell our adult selves, or the things we don't accept about our adult selves. It's like, imagine saying that to little you, like that inner monologue, the things that we tell each other we don't like about ourselves.
But I heard those things. So that doesn't even, like how you're getting emotional.
Yeah.
Because that's not.
But you
something,
heard. So
but I
just
heard that growing up. So I don't even get emotional.
Don't want
like
you to. They said that to you. I don't want you saying that to you. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to myself too. You know what I mean? Of just like, don't say, like, you would never say that to little Val. You know, never, ever. So it's like, why are you saying that to yourself now? Like, you're grown. Like, no, like that's not okay.
Yeah, when you start to listen, like really like pay attention to what your body's saying, when you give yourself that love and attention, it softens things, and it gives you the space to literally be your fullest self in the room without having to try.
So what I take away from this is I'm gonna work on this, and by the time we get to our next like session, we have one more we're filming today, but next meetup,
yes,
I'm gonna report back and be like, guys, I feel amazing. My hip doesn't hurt anymore.
And it's not about so let me preface though, it's not about fixing. There's nothing to fix. Literally, there's nothing to fix. It's just a matter of tuning in and telling yourself, your body, your vessel that carries you around every day, to go do what you need to go do and be who you want to be, and really just genuinely giving it the space and time and love. And it doesn't, and for some people that means working out. That actually means go work out. But for others, where it's like 6 days a week and the body's like, hey, 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 and you're like, no, 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 you know what I mean? You just go, okay, let me pause for a second. How can I shift a little bit more into leaning into what the body needs instead of what my mind is saying? Go run the program. you know, and there's nothing wrong with the program. There's nothing wrong with the program. It's just making that, I like to say it's like opening the door. Just open the door to a new possibility, a new way, a new adventure of self-love. Because working out is a version of self-love. But then when it gets obsessive, right, and the body's communicating, that's when we get a little bit in a that cycle.
Well, I feel like we're low on time at this point. We got to close it out.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I'm like, I wrote a couple, you know, me and my quotes. I'm just going to read. I don't even know if it
Makes sense.
makes sense, but I'm going
Yeah.
to read it because I wrote this down. So one of the quotes was, to live in the body of a survivor is to never be able to leave the scene of the crime. I cannot ignore the fact that I live here.
Woo!
Isn't that crazy?
That is tight. Who said that?
I don't even remember, but I
Dang, that
to live
just
in the
blew my
body of a to live in the body of a survivor is to never be able to leave the scene of the crime. That's why, yeah.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
And it's such a harsh reality.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, the trauma's there. You're literally living in the scene of the crime, as they say.
Yeah.
But I love this. Thank you so much for and thank you for
Yes.
for going through that on the spot. Like,
Yeah.
and like I know, and you know that's hard.
It is. I was like, close your eyes. Breathe with me.
No, but that was cool. It was cool, and hopefully, I mean, regardless of the result, like I think that's a really cool thing for our listeners and our viewers to see and to hopefully practice. You know,
Yeah.
see kind of how you would coach somebody in that kind of a scenario. So that was really a cool experience.
Thank you.
MoveOnPurpose.com.
Yes.
Find
Yes.
Teresa.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. But we had so much fun with you and Teresa, and we'll see you next time.
Next time.
Adios.